This is the story of the silent bomb. It is also the story of how humans meddle with things they do and understand, and why sometimes it is best to leave well enough alone. On October 24, 2045, an international team of scientists detonated a nuclear bomb in the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Not just any bomb, but a next-generation 100-megaton fusion device that could theoretically be deployed underwater without causing a devastating tsunami or widespread radioactive fallout. Their goal was to study beneath the ocean's surface. But what actually happened defied all their expectations. Instead of a fireball rising through the water column, the ocean swallowed the explosion in near silence. For a terrifying moment, it seemed like nothing had happened. But then sensors around the Pacific Ocean began picking up a deep, unnatural, resonating hum. Whatever the bomb's explosion created had not risen to the surface, but it was sending ripples across the seafloor thousands of kilometers away. Now alarmed, scientists tried to analyze the data. And what they discovered beneath the crust of the Earth was so unexpected that it forced them to reevaluate everything they thought they knew about plate tectonics. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, something ancient had stirred, a tectonic fault system that had been dormant for millions of years. The Manila Trench system began to shift. Strange heat signatures appeared across the seafloor, and deep-sea creatures fled toward the surface in terror. The detonation may have failed to produce the desired result, but whatever it did create was growing in power by the hour. Scientists soon realized that they had unleashed something they couldn't control. But what exactly was it? And would it destroy the world? What happens next will shock you. The story started a few weeks before the detonation when a fleet of research vessels arrived at the designated launch site. The plan called for a remotely operated submersible to descend into the Mariana Trench and deploy the bomb on the seafloor. Once the all-clear was given, the sub would retreat to a safe distance and the bomb would detonate. Its energy would hopefully be contained within a narrow channel between two tectonic plates, allowing scientists to study the effects of intense underwater pressure on nuclear fusion. But as we now know, things didn't go according to plan. After the submersible deployed the bomb and moved away, nothing happened for several minutes. The team waited anxiously, watching their instruments like hawks. Then suddenly, seismic sensors around the Pacific Rim picked up an enormous energy release. But it wasn't an earthquake or a volcanic eruption. It was a continuous hum at a resonant frequency. As more data came in, a grim realization dawned on the scientists. The bomb hadn't exploded upward. It had gone off in place. But that was impossible. Hadn't they put the bomb at the bottom of the Mariana Trench? The answer, they soon realized, lay in the strange behavior of water itself. When the bomb exploded, the immense energy release forced the surrounding seawater to compress and solidify almost instantly into a dense, impenetrable mass of ice. This bizarre transformation turned out to be the key to understanding what happened next. As we saw, heat signatures appeared across the entire Pacific Sea. Whatever the bomb had created was spreading silently beneath the ocean, driven by an ancient force older than the fault itself. The Manila Trench system, which had been relatively quiet for millions of years, suddenly sprang into motion. Huge slabs of rock known as tectonic plates began grinding and shifting along the fault line. In some places, the seafloor rose, and in others, it sank, creating deep trenches and mountain chains. As the plates moved, tremendous pressure built up along the fault. Then, as if triggered by the bomb's explosion, the pressure released suddenly. With a series of earth-shattering roars, the seafloor broke apart along the fault line, opening up deep chasms and fissures. Molten rock and superheated steam erupted from the cracks, creating new mountains and hundreds of previously unknown hydrothermal vents. But the activity didn't stop there. Strange lights began appearing in the depths as hundreds of dormant volcanoes across the Pacific Ocean rumbled to life. Towering geysers shot up into the night sky, spraying boiling water and pulverized rock high above the seafloor. Ash and gases billowed into the atmosphere, blanketing entire ocean basins in darkness. What was supposed to be a controlled experiment had unleashed chaos on a scale that defied comprehension. Worse still, scientists soon realized that the bomb's explosion had triggered an even greater catastrophe. In the immediate aftermath of the detonation, the immense energy released generated powerful shock waves that raced across the ocean. But these weren't ordinary waves. They were rogue waves twice the height of Mount Everest, towering over the surrounding waters. These colossal breakers crashed into coastal cities, causing catastrophic damage and sweeping thousands of people out to sea. As the waves receded, they left behind a trail of destruction that stretched 4 miles. Entire neighborhoods were wiped off the map, reduced to splinters of wood and twisted metal. But the full extent of the devastation became clear only when the water receded. Inundated highways, submerged roads, and demolished bridges cut off entire communities from emergency services. Search and rescue operations were hampered by debris-filled waters, making it difficult to reach those in need of medical attention. Hospitals were overwhelmed, struggling to cope with the sheer number of casualties. The economic impact was equally staggering. Homes, businesses, and critical infrastructure lay in ruins, leaving countless families homeless and the region's economy in tatters. The road to recovery would be long and arduous, requiring massive amounts of resources and support to rebuild shattered communities and restore essential services. But as if the tsunamis weren't enough, scientists soon realized that the real danger lay beneath the waves. In the weeks following the detonation, vast areas of the seafloor began to buckle and warp. Huge segments of the ocean floor heaved upward, forming towering mountain ranges that pierced the surface. Others sank into the depths, creating enormous trenches that rivaled the Mariana Trench itself. But amidst this upheaval, something truly bizarre emerged. Hundreds of massive methane bubbles that rose from the seafloor and spread across the ocean's surface. These anomalous gas plumes disrupted normal ocean currents and weather patterns, creating giant eddies and swirls of water. These turbulent masses of water then spread methane and other gases across vast stretches of the Pacific, transforming wind and temperature patterns in ways that scientists are only beginning to understand. And as the Pacific churned with these strange methane bubbles, another danger lurked beneath the waves. Deep-sea creatures, already fleeing the initial explosion, were now facing a new nightmare. Huge squid-like animals with massive eyes and gaping maws emerged from the depths, hunting anything they could catch. Even deeper, gigantic crustaceans with crushing claws and razor-sharp teeth hunted in packs, tearing prey apart with ease. As these predators moved closer to the surface, fishermen began pulling up massive, strangely mutated fish from the sea. Creatures that should have been deep in the abyssal zone were now invading shallower waters, disrupting delicate marine ecosystems. These monstrous creatures, driven by unknown forces, wreaked havoc on the food chain, leaving scientists scrambling to understand what had caused such drastic changes. In the days following the detonation, seismic activity continued to shake the Pacific Ocean. Mysterious whirlpools and eddies dominated the surface, while unsettling methane bubbles spread their tendrils across the horizon. Unprecedented numbers of mutated deep-sea creatures invaded shallower waters, and monstrous storms raged across the globe. As scientists grappled with the consequences of their actions, a sobering realization dawned on them. The silent bomb hadn't merely failed to achieve its objectives. It had awakened a sleeping giant. They had unleashed forces beneath the ocean that humanity may never fully comprehend, setting in motion a chain reaction that threatened the delicate balance of our planet. The ordeal served as a stark reminder of the awesome power of nature and the limits of human knowledge. The once ambitious plan for a next-generation weapon had backfired spectacularly, turning into a Pandora's box of chaos and destruction. Now humanity faced the daunting task of dealing with the far-reaching consequences of their actions and trying to restore order to a world turned upside down. The future remained uncertain, hanging in the balance as the full extent of the disaster unfolded before their eyes.